My name's Dr. Graham Pater. I'm a general practitioner. Paddy Gill is a patient of mine and has been for many years. In the early 1990s, Paddy came down with rheumatoid arthritis and he was quite severely affected by this. He was placed on various medications to assist with the treatment of this, including regular injections and tablets. In 1994, he consulted me, suffering from shortness of breath and cough over a period of a few weeks, and so we proceeded to do some tests. His lung function tests revealed that his lung capacity was down to only about 2/3 of the predicted level for his age and height. A chest x-ray was performed which showed scarring in the interstitial part of the lungs, which is the areas between the airways, and then a CT scan was performed, and then after that I received a phone call from Paddy Gill's specialist, rheumatologist, Dr. Smith, and he explained to me that Paddy's x-rays and scans had been reviewed at a special meeting of the rheumatology and x-ray specialists at the Repatriation and Flinders Medical Centre hospitals, and they were unanimous that he had a condition known as Bronchiolitis Obliterans. And this is a rare condition that in his case was a complication of his rheumatoid arthritis. It causes scarring of the lungs, and he told me that normally this condition is very rapid and progressive and fatal. Most commonly it's not diagnosed until after a person dies at a post-mortem examination. He told me that he'd rung me because I knew Paddy and that perhaps I could explain it to him, and that he would see him the next day at the Flinders Medical Centre hospital. I telephoned Paddy that day. I remember it was a Tuesday afternoon, and I had to explain to Paddy that he had this condition which would be rapidly fatal, but I did tell him that I also believed that God could heal him and that we would have prayer for him, but nevertheless it was obviously very sad and tragic news. So I'll get Paddy to explain what happened from there.
Yeah, when Graham phoned and told me, my wife, who is dead now, was in the room, and we were both devastated by the news. I went walking to try and clear my head or make some sense of the whole situation. I didn't really want to go home because I had nothing to offer in the way of strength to my wife. But when I got there, she promptly had me down on my knees with her, and we prayed to the Lord for a miracle or to give us strength to go through this. We prayed most of the afternoon. That evening we went to our meeting as normal. We had the assembly to pray for me. The next day at 1:30 I showed up at Flinders with my wife. They did another lung function test, and this one proved clear. The specialists were dumbfounded because the x-rays should have shown more, because I had only 3 weeks. When I asked them was I cured or not, my specialist turned around and said, "I just don't know, but would you like to come back in a month?" That was 10 years ago. I had a cure, and the Lord gave me the cure. Thank you.
On the screen here on the computer we have some x-rays, of chest x-rays. The one on the left is an x-ray of Mr. Gill's, performed in September 1994 when his condition was originally diagnosed, and that shows extra scarring, especially nearer the edges of the lung fields. It gets compared with an x-ray on the right, which is a normal chest x-ray, The extra white markings in the lung fields can be clearly seen, and this is signs of scarring in the interstitial part of the lungs, which was due to his bronchiolitis obliterans. There's also then a X-ray report from his chest X-ray performed in 2001, which shows that these changes had completely gone and that he'd been healed of this incurable condition, as well as a quote from the letter from his lung specialist from 1996, which also confirms that there was no signs of interstitial lung disease or bronchiolitis obliterans.